Coming up to actively plan for a successful youth activities for this year, youths of Sacred Heart Parish Bomaka met recently with the youth chaplain to discuss on the way forward. Also, this is June 18th. The world is commemorating the International Day of Combating Hate Speech and Xenophobia. The day aims at creating awareness and spread positive messages against hate speech. This year's theme is the power of youth for countering hate speech. And in order to fully remedy the effects of climate change and protect the environment against landslides, the Wundum Museum here in Boya Subdivision and a non-governmental organization ASCOA have engaged a tree planting exercise. We bring you details just in a bit. Good evening and welcome to Divine Mercy Prime. Those were the leading stories for tonight's newscast. Their full readouts and yours will be more in a jiffy. Let's begin our newscast tonight far from home in the United States of America. Reverend Father Jude Forby, an ex-student of Bishop Rogan College, has been ordained a priest with the Society of Jesus. The ordination mass took place June 15, 2024 at the Jesuit-run Our Lady of Lourdes Church in Toronto, Canada. Several ex-students of Bishop Rogan College were present to witness the event. Also present was the Bishop of Boya, His Lordship Michael Bibi, who had just wrapped up with the convention of Birocol exams. The ordained Jesuit priest, Reverend Father Jude Forby, born in Bamenda, will serve in the Jesuit West African province. He was ordained alongside two other Jesuits by the Archbishop of Toronto, the Most Reverend Francis Leo. Now back here in the Diocese of Boya, the curate of Sacred Heart Parish Bomaka and youths of that parish have held a meeting aimed at fostering unity among the youths and fully engage them with youth activities during this holiday break. Reverend Father Cletus Aka organized the meeting at his parish Monday, June 17, 2024. Nadeshme has an insight to this story and now reports.
In order to foster unity amongst themselves and fully prepare for this year's youth activities, the curate of Sacred Heart Parish Bomaka, Reverend Father Cletus Aka, organized a youth meeting on June 17, 2024 with the youths of the parish. To him, convening such a meeting is an important task, especially as the youth are on holidays.
We know that if you don't occupy your children and you allow them to move about anyhow, they may become a devil's workshop. So I decided that we should have a parish rally, and within the context of the rally, we shall have talks, and NGOs will come in and teach them on the skills, physical skills, so that they will not just end in the classroom, but they will continue to develop their skills and their natural know-how.
During the meeting, issues like football encounter with the youth of the Presbyterian Church Bomaka, Parish Rally in August, and Diocesan Rally of the St. Stephen Guild and Cadet of Mary were deliberated upon.
We have so many activities to do within this year, and the first of this activity is our football and handball encounter against the youth of the Presbyterian Church in Bomaka. Is to foster that unity between the Presbyterian Church and the Catholic Church in Bomaka. We began that during the ecumenical services that we had some months back. So in the meeting again today, we discussed about our parish rally that will be coming up in August, and we talk about the diocesan rallies of SSG, Cadet of Mary, and how we can build our youth.
Youth who answered present during the meeting applauded his clerical initiative. They had this to say.
Had a general meeting with the youth and our Reverend Father Cletus as a youth chaplain of the Sacred Parish Bomaka. And during the meeting, we had so many discussions. The first discussion we had was to deliberate on how we are going to play the youth of Presbyterian Church, Bomaka. And then in that light, on the 23rd of this same June, we'll be playing them And we pray that as we play there, we are going to foster that bond between the two communities.
The Akaka to call for general youth meeting in order to have a planification for youth activities coming up. For example, this coming Sunday, we are playing the youth of the Presbyterian Church, Bomaka, and also this holiday period, we are going to have a parish youth camp, which is going to last for 1 month. And this period, we are going to drill on so many activities, and organization is going to invite organizations are going to teach the youth on so many activities to showcase individual talent, group talent, and other things to keep the youth busy and engaged and to avoid idleness. And don't forget also, we also talk about the Susan Rally of Kadek, Altar Savers, YCS, CYC.
On Sunday, June 23rd, 2024, the youth of Sacred Heart Parish Bomaka shall have a one-on-one football and handball encounter with the youth of the Presbyterian Church Bomaka, aimed at fostering unity between the two communities.
The televised Boya Diocesan Catechetical Program Know Your Faith took place on Monday 17th June at St. Martin the Porres Parish, Bokwango. The session was directed by Reverend Father Martin J, sitting in for His Lordship Michael Bibi. His teaching was focused on the governance and enrollment of consecrated life in the Institute of Consecrated Life, as well as societies of apostolic life. Reverend Father Roderick Yangse was present during that session and now reports.
Today's program, Know Your Faith, a weekly catechetical session of the Bishop of the Diocese of Boya, Monsignor Michael Bibi, in which he educates the faithful on every aspect of the Christian faith, took place at St. Martin the Porres Parish, Bokwango. Today's edition was anchored by his representative, Father Martin J. Muka, in which he concluded the 4-week session on societies of apostolic life and institutes of consecrated life. He dwelt today on the governance and enrollment within the societies of apostolic life and institutes of consecrated life. Each major superior is to have councils to assist him in the daily governance of the institute. They are also to have chapters which are the highest governing organ of the institute. And above all, each major superior is to have a financial administrator.
As stipulated in the Code of Canon Law, Canon 636 rather, as far as the administration of the temporal goods of the institute is concerned, Canon Law demands that the superiors are to be assisted by finance administrators who must be distinct from the superiors. Institutes themselves within a local church, for instance, in the local church of Boya, that is the Diocese of Boya, as a prominent common good, we have the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral. It is a common good of the church in the institute or in the Diocese of Boya. We have the Bishop Pius Suawa Memorial Pastoral Center, a common good of the church. So the one who is in charge of any particular institute of consecrated life or society of apostolic life, as a measure superior, as a provincial superior, or as a local superior, he is to ensure that the common good of the church is intact. And to facilitate that, when it comes to finance, there is need for a finance administrator who is different from the supreme moderator or general superior, who is different from the bishop. That is why we have a finance administrator in the diocese.
He also brought out the impediments, that is, those factors which can make one not fit for religious life.
We are told that apart from age, which could be an impediment, just come to think of it, a young boy who is 11 years and wants to join maybe the Tertiary Sisters of St. Francis, even without obtaining the advanced level, which is a basic or minimum requirement, is already an impediment, age. And then we still ensure that as an impediment, we have marriage bonds, prior bonds. Just as a candidate cannot be ordained a priest, one cannot be ordained into the sacraments of sacred orders as a deacon in the church or as a priest, because of prior bonds, there must be an investigation to ensure that that person had not attempted marriage, had not given the free spousal marital consent of the marriage bond. the person has not been married somewhere. So if the person is already married, it's already an impediment to admission for formation into the Society of Apostolic Life or the Institute of Consecrated Life.
The participation and activeness was greatly felt, as was evident from the questions which came from those who attended the doctrine.
You said the enrollment age is 17 years. Father, I was married, but my husband died, and so I'm a widow. I was working. I am retired. So, Father, can I apply to become a Reverend Sister? Thank you very much.
To begin with, remember, in the sacrament of Holy Matrimony, the expression of the spousal and marital consent brings marriage into being. The expression of the consent brings marriage into being. And it is for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness or in health, till death do you part. Till death do you part. And that is why, after the death of a spouse, there is a room open for remarriage. Somebody can get married again. Somebody can begin his life again anew in the sacrament of Holy Matrimony. The fact that there existed a prior bond, the bond of marriage, already at that point in time, brought about an impediment for you to be engaged into the religious life or consecrated life.
Departing from the scene, all were filled with satisfaction, all hoping to be part of the next section come next Monday.
Let's leave Buea to Manfi Diocese. Nursery and primary teachers of the Diocese of Manfi have rounded up a one-week training seminar with a call for them to be exemplary to the children they tutor by building in them Catholic values as well as ethics. The call was made by the Education Secretary of the Diocese of Manfi, Reverend Father James Banksy, during the training session at the St. Francis Xavier Pastoral Center in Manfi. Joseph Otop tells us more in the following report.
Catholic nursery and primary school teachers in the Diocese of Manfi have rounded up with an intensive in-service training organized by the Catholic Education Agency of the Diocese of Manfi to fortify them and adequately prepare them for the academic year 2024-2025. This one-week training, which ran from Sunday, June 9 to June 16, 2024 at the St. Francis Xavier Pastoral Center, saw the presence of professional facilitators who drilled them on the correct format of writing lesson notes, sounds and word building, which is the foundation of reading and many pedagogical topics. These scholars were equally called upon by the Catholic Education Secretary, Reverend Father James Banksy, to be exemplary to the children they tutor, representing Catholic values and ethics, hence training saints and scholars. After this session, the teachers, together with the Education Secretary of the Diocese of Manfi, expressed satisfaction.
I'm very happy for this seminar. I wish that the bishop should be doing it every year because we have had so many new skills of teaching techniques to teach these our youngsters that are coming up. Because at first, we just go to class, we don't even know what to really do. We have learned a lot from the participant. I thank God that the participant that came, they really help us to improve our skills of teaching techniques. We are very, very happy.
I'm very happy. I'm grateful with the Bishop, His Lordship, Bishop Abangolo, for organizing this seminar. I'm great with all the education body, especially my Education Secretary, Father James, my PA, Madame Solange Bade, and all those who are working inside the office. For the seminar was very rich. And I want to tell my friends who are out there, who stayed behind, that they have missed a lot. All the other colleagues who were not here, they have missed a lot. And I want to beg the bishop that with time he should organize this seminar, let them put it for 1 month, so that teachers should really come and learn, especially these our youngsters in the field.
Seminar, this in-training service seminar has been so enriching, and I am so grateful from the bottom of my heart that I was a participant of this seminar. And from all that was taught, I think I'm going to apply it. And it is a singular opportunity for me to upgrade myself so that at the end of the next academic year, my children will really be competent enough to in what they are taught.
I'm very, very satisfied with this training that has taken place for this 1 week. So some teachers did not turn out and they gave their various reasons, but I think those who came, in their participants' impression, they have said that they were really, really satisfied, they were really impacted with good knowledge, and those who came to give them the training, they were really equipped with the resources available, resources that they could use to give this teacher what they actually needed for the next academic year and subsequent academic years.
Meanwhile, the pedagogic animator of Catholic schools in the Diocese of Mamfe, Bate Solange, explains reasons for this seminar.
The course of my school visitation, inspections, like we do rounds every time, I realized that most of our teachers are not trained. And even to prepare lesson notes to deliver was a problem. Some had beautiful lesson notes, but delivery was a big problem because they didn't understand the techniques. And given that they have not been to any formal training institution, I had to come back and do, after the diagnosis, talk with the bishop, who was really ready. He listened and he said, okay, madam, if this is what you think is going to help the teachers, I am ready. And he made all the facilities ready. And from the 6th of June, we had to invite the teachers to come. And even in the course of the participation, we after the diagnosis, we just said, no, we can't do it all alone because it was a hectic task. We had to invite the other teachers from the teacher training institutions. And even at the regional level, we brought in a facilitator on sounds and well building, Madame Immaculate, who was here to also drill the teachers on sounds and well building. So it was an enriching seminar.
It is hoped that these teachers will implement what they have learned come 2024-2025 academic year.
Countries all over the world, together with the United Nations organization, join to celebrate the International Day for Countering Hate Speech and Xenophobia in the Society this June 18, 2024 with the theme, The Power of Youth for Countering Hate Speech. The day observed on June 18 each year aims at countering hate speech through education, media, and information literacy. Joseph Otob looks into what this International Day is all about and now reports.
Speech in the form of xenophobia, racism, anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim hatred, misogyny and other types of intolerance is on the rise worldwide, spreading faster and further than ever before through social media. Both online and offline, hate speech targets and dehumanizes people and peoples based on who they are, often by actors seeking political gain. Every year on June 18, UNESCO counters hate speech through education and media and information literacy, promote international standards on freedom of expression to address root causes of hate speech, and support countries to build effective responses, including by fostering the capacity building of regulators and judicial operators and advocating for enhanced transparency of internet companies. Observing this year's celebration under the theme, The Power of Youth for Countering Hate Speech, Annie Millicent of Reach Out Cameroon enumerate ways youth can be involved in countering hate speech.
Looking at the theme for this year's celebration against hate speech, which is the power of youth in countering hate speech in the society, it has a lot. When you just look at this theme, it already projects youth as a very vital population, as a group of people that has a lot to play when it comes to countering hate speech. So when you look at every society, the youth is the most vibrant and active population of that society. They have a lot to bring to the table. They have a lot to add when it comes to change. So, and you look on the other hand, youths are the highest people on social media platforms these days. On Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, youths really use their phones. I don't think inside, if you meet 10 youths, above, just nine will have Android phones, and maybe just one which is just suffering from a crisis at the moment even. So youth have a lot to play. When it comes to hate speech, we have seen examples of people perpetrating this on social media. They use social media platforms to promote hate speech by the kind of content they put on there, the kind of communication, the kind of things they post online. So we are using these days to commemorate the celebration of the fight against hate speech and calling on youths to take note on how they use the social media space. They should use social media space in a way that will not hurt their neighbor.
Hate speech and xenophobia can be detrimental to a person and society at large.
Hate speech has led to a lot of difficulties when it comes to an individual. It leads to psychosocial harm, mental health issues. Some people don't know how to handle everything like that lightly, and it helps in destroying social cohesion, living together. It promotes discriminatory attitudes amongst people, and so there's a lot that we stand to lose when it comes to communications that are open to hate speech and xenophobia. So this is why we are using this day, and we have been carrying out a campaign to fight against hate speech and xenophobia, targeting youths, visiting schools, visiting public places like park areas where many people always come together to travel from one place to the other and stuff like that. So we have been talking to youths, and we have had the reactions, and it has been very positive because many people have had the experience. I mean, almost everyone we have spoken to has something to say about an experience they have had on hate speech.
As the world marks the International Day for Countering Hate Speech, every individual is encouraged to promote human rights education, bring young people into democratic decision-making, and counter intolerance, discrimination, prejudice, and stereotypes wherever they are found.
The people of Wondo Mosume locality here in Buea have taken part in a tree planting exercise to give a foretaste to their community. The locals here also did extend gratitude to the non-governmental association ASCOA for the initiative in their community to help protect against landslides, soil degradation, and the numerous effects of climatic changes. Summer Eileen was at Wondo Mosume and brought back this report for us.
This is Wondo Mosume, a village located around Great Sopo, Buea subdivision of Fako, where the people reached out to the Association of Community Awareness ASCOA, requesting trees be planted in the village to protect the soil against degradation, landslide, and the numerous defects of climate change.
We lobbied for trees from them, and they came, and we are so happy to welcome them, plant our trees in our community because we needed them. We have an area where it's full of landslide and whatsoever, so we needed trees like that to hold firm the soil around this area. Our chief really needed it. He went for them. They did not come to us. He went for them. So we are happy that they responded and are here.
A representative from the regional delegation of the environment, Southwest, followed the crew for the tree planting exercise.
This exercise is very important, notwithstanding the fact that the World Environment Day has passed, but every day is a day to protect the environment. So an exercise like this, we all know that trees are a source of oxygen. So this is important in and of itself. Besides that, I think this community, we have seen the need for trees because we planted we have planted all the trees that we had, or we just left a few.
Ruth Njema Coffee is head of Environment Protection, ASCOA.
On the World Environment Day, we decided to do a follow-up of our tree planting project from last year, which was planted from Checkpoint to Bitingi, coming up to Bokwai village. During that exercise, we came in contact with the head of this community, and they reached out to us and expressed the desire that their community seems to be in a precarious zone where there's a lot of landslide and they could really benefit from tree planting exercise. So upon that contact, we exchanged some information and contact, and we met with this community for feasibility studies, and we saw that indeed it is important for us to come and educate them on tree planting and carry out the tree planting exercise alongside the community members.
These over 400 trees planted this day will not only benefit the community climatically, but medically as well.
We have planted not just trees for shade, but we have planted also fruit trees. We made sure to select species that are environmental friendly, species that are not poisonous, so that in case little children in the community happen to consume the leaves, we are not going to have any situation to handle with regards to health. Then, for the sustainability of this project, since they met us, we decided to do it alongside the community. They are here with us today. We have done a lot of planting. We've shown them how to do it. We told them how to select the sites where to plant and where not to plant. So there's a lot of work that has been done. We have planted over 400 trees that we have planted today in this community. I'm very, very grateful because they are passionate about it. That tells me that the trees have a future in this community.
It is worth highlighting that this laudable initiative by the Association for Community Awareness falls in line with recommendations made on World Environment Day, June 5, tying with the theme for 2024, land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience.
Over 200 Kenyan protesters have been arrested following a protest against proposed tax hikes in a finance bill that is due approval. They were arrested in the capital, Nairobi. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin is in North Korea for a 2-day diplomatic visit to that particular nation. The visit is intended to boost cooperation ties between both countries. Matilda Bison tells us more on our foreign news page tonight.
Malawi's Vice President Saulus Chilima was laid to rest in his village south of the capital on Monday following a funeral where President Lazarus Chakwera called for an independent probe into his death in a plane crash. The state funeral was held at the Bingu Bingu National Stadium in Lilongwe on Sunday, where Chakwera and other dignitaries followed by a long trumpet post. The military rendered a 19-gun salute as the body was laid to rest, followed by a long trumpet post and revel. Those who laid wreaths included Chakwera, all of Malawi's 3 former presidents, and Chilima's wife, children and relatives.
One thing we'll remember about him is his zeal to fight for this country. He was a loving person, he was a kind-hearted person. He wanted to make sure that there was peace in the country.
The Chilima family also called for an independent investigation to avoid similar incidents in the future. More than 200 protesters have been arrested in Kenya's capital Nairobi in ongoing protests against proposed tax hikes in a finance bill that is due to be tabled in Parliament. Nairobi Police Commander Adamson Bingui on Tuesday said no group had been granted permission to protest in the capital. The right to peaceful protests is guaranteed in Kenya's constitution, but organizers are required to notify the police beforehand. Police generally give a go-ahead unless there are security concerns. Police hurled tear gas canisters at hundreds of demonstrators on Tuesday, forcing businesses to close for fear of looting temporarily.
We are witnessing some chaos which is not right for us as Kenyans. We need to live like we are in a country. We don't have to have fear that we are going to be chased because we are fighting for our rights. So people are in the streets to demonstrate their anger, their frustrations, to demonstrate everything.
Some major tax proposals in the bill were dropped after a Tuesday morning meeting between ruling party MPs and President William Ruto. Opposition leader Raila Odinga urged MPs to scrutinize the bill and vote to remove clauses that would burden the poor. Russian President Vladimir Putin is marking a rare foreign trip to North Korea this June 18 till 19, a visit intended to further cement ties with an old ally that supports Moscow's war in Ukraine. The visit is termed symbolic as it is intended to boost both countries' cooperation. Both countries recently opposed sanctions placed on them by the West and the US, with Putin saying they are willing to develop trade and payment systems that cannot be controlled. Andrea Lankov, a professor at Kukmin University, said Russia is only interested in a cooperation with North Korea while there is ongoing military action in Ukraine.
Russia can trade with North Korea on most items in most areas, not all, but most, only at a loss. I don't know if they decide that for political reasons it makes sense to turn a blind eye to these losses, and some kind of mechanism will be developed that will compensate these losses for Russian entrepreneurs, but I doubt it. I am inclined to think that this will not be done, including because the strategic value of North Korea, in case the phase of active hostilities in Ukraine ends, the strategic value of Korea is most likely not so great.
Putin's trip to North Korea marks his second visit to the country. Putin first visited Yonhap in July 2000, months after his first election, when he met with Kim's father, Kim II, who ruled the country then.
That's the report rounds of Zivamersu Prime tonight. But prior to us parting, let's look into the headlines once more. Coming up, to actively plan for the successful youth activities for this year, youths of Sacred Heart Parish Bomaka met recently with the youth chaplain to discuss on the way forward. Also, this is June 18, the world is commemorating the International Day of Combating Hate Speech and Xenophobia. The day aims at creating awareness and spread positive messages against hate speech. This year's theme is the power of youth for countering hate speech. And in order to fully remedy the effects of climate change and protect the environment against landslides, the Wondo Mosume here in Boya Subdivision and a non-governmental organization ASCOA have engaged on a tree planting exercise. We brought you details in this newscast. Thank you, dear viewers, for watching Zivamersu Primer. Stay tuned for more interesting programs at ZMR TV. While wishing you a restful night, we urge you to remain glued, for up next we shall have Mountain Echoes. Good night.